Hi, my name is Sally Bernard, an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer. Welcome to Call Me Zena, a true story into the spiritual realms. Join me as I sit and discuss the journey of self-discovery, and with the help of my spirit guides, it's time to trust your intuition. Sit with me and call in live 888-994-4995 Studio A. And now onto the show. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. It's Monday, 2:30, and my show is starting. Okay, welcome to everybody in the studio audience. I love to have people around me, and it's good that you ask me questions because I was just saying to Freddie, I'm only as good as the question that I am asked. I hope everybody had a very happy, Merry Christmas, and I know I'm going to say at the end of my show, but a very, very Happy New Year. Question time.
All right, Sally, first let's talk about how do people get your book?
Okay, well, you know, I'm in the middle of tuning into my guides, I think. Amazon, just go into Amazon or Author House. Call Me Zena, it's there, it's an ebook, you can buy the book. You can buy it, just go onto Amazon's site and punch in, which we see there, it's Call Me Zena. I think we have something over the little thing there.
You can scan the QR code right at the bottom of your screen. Yeah. And get your book from Amazon or Author House.
Or Author House, yes. And my art is still up there with my art on clothing. I'm just getting more into maybe specializing in some of the things, not adding everything that's on there. But if you like everything that's on there, check it out because some of it is coming off the site, which is Spiritual Art by Sally Bernard. Oh my God, it's not. That was my old site. I told you.
I was going to say, wow, is that a new site I don't know about?
No, it's not. That's from that. I cannot do this. I'll answer any question, and you know that. But when
Art by SallyBernard.com.
Yes. It used to be Spiritual Art. We probably still could get into that. Okay, guys, on with the show.
All right, so I have to ask you, we're wrapping up 2025, rolling into 2026. Standard question for a psychic medium would be, what do you see happening? And I know I need to be more specific.
No, that's okay because I'm going to generalize that, Dawn. I do see, and I mean, I'm not just saying it because it's things that everybody wants to hear, but you know, through the year I have been talking about what's going to happen in the future with your show. I see a lot of really good things. I see some new things coming about around, and I don't normally so specific with dates, but I'm going to say the end of February, beginning of March, going into the end of March. You're going to have something really, I feel, exciting going to happen. Somebody is going to be is going to be walking into the studio, and you're going to be a little bit cautious. The word is cagey at first that I'm feeling, but as you begin to have the conversation, and I believe that this person that's coming in had no idea they were coming in here. I feel that very strongly. They're going to come in and they're going to walk around, and what is going to catch their eye actually is a lot of the art, which when people walk in. But you're going to remember what I'm saying now. And I think that this is going to turn into something really big. And I don't usually give such specific premonitions to you guys, but I really feel that that's going to happen. I'm getting more the end of March, actually, that something is going to happen with what they've been talking about. It's a them. It's two people. It's not going to be one person. It's two.
Interesting. Yeah, because I never even ask you questions like that, which is interesting.
Yeah, because we talk more about what I don't even remember what we talk about, but we talk about a lot of other things. But it's not usually predictions with that, yeah.
It's been an interesting year. 2026, do you see overall for people, for the universe being better, harder?
I see that it's different. You know, we on my show, and people know that I've talked about disclosure a lot. I feel that we're getting closer and closer to disclosure of things that are going to happen. It's going to be done in a lighter, softer way. You're going to see pictures of things. It's going to open people's mind. And I really think that this coming year, there's going to be more talk about what people talk about, and then they stop and they talk about it. But I think you're going to get more of an explanation of what's really going on with that.
As far as extraterrestrial?
Yes, absolutely. Disclosure on that. I should have said that because we call it disclosure, I guess. It's going to be disclosure in a different type of way. You're going to see things and people are going to question, well, I know I saw, because many people have the cameras out. Whereas years ago, when you couldn't talk about anything like that, people did not have cameras like that. They had to run into the house, come out, and whatever they saw has gone. But from my point of view, from what I'm feeling, is that, and you know I believe in this, obviously, that they're wanting us to know, but they're wanting us to know so that we're not completely scared and caught completely off our guard. And if you look at it, even movies today, and I don't go that much, I watch them on the TV, are coming out with little things. It's not like it used to be. People are not as scared anymore to bring up the subject and say, you know, we're not alone, because I truly believe, and I've talked many times on my show, that we are not alone. So I think we're going to see more of that in the coming year.
What do you think politically worldwide?
Well, I made a promise and a pact to myself, although I'm not quite here, that politics is kind of off my list because there's so much. The reason being, yes, of course I have my own point of view too, as everybody does, but there's so much, I'm going to say, it's hard even. They don't want to talk about it either.
We're going to skip that then.
That's
nice
strange.
try, Dawn.
I never stutter.
I didn't really mean which political party. I was thinking
No,
more
I know.
as the scope of the world. Will people come together more? Are we going to stay more as divisive as we are?
Okay, I was just going to say we're so divisive over this subject that there are viewers that think one way and in any show and then think the other. So I think they also want to keep out of it because I feel that I don't feel.
Don't feel. Good. We'll keep it with the shows. We'll go that way.
Yeah, it's better.
So changing the subject, in what seems to be a never-ending stream of incidences that pit coincidence versus synchronicity, something of that nature happened with us the day before yesterday at breakfast.
Yes,
Would
it
you
did.
care to expand on what I'm saying?
Yeah, well, we started to go, we go out for breakfast, except when you're out of town, which is pretty frequently too. We go out for breakfast most of the time. So we have our go-to restaurant, so to speak. So we're kind of new at going to this one because we did change it. So I don't know the server. We like her, she's lovely, but we've never really had a conversation with us two in there. But the other day she commented on my English accent. So I said, yeah, I'm from England, I'm from London. So she said to me, well, she said, my grandparents had was a deli that we were in. She said, we had a deli in London. And she mentioned the name of the deli, which was Bloom's. And I looked at her, having gone out to this restaurant every day. I said, do you mean Bloom's in well, where it was? People won't know where it was. It was in the East End of London where my father's business was. My father used to go to that restaurant every single day for lunch. Well, sometimes he missed lunch, but here he went, and this is years ago, to her grandparents' restaurant, and here we're going to breakfast, nearly every breakfast here in Boca. One in London, one is Boca. That we should even mention it.
That's
and
amazing.
she just looked at me. She said, "Well, that's my grandparents own them," and I said, "I think I knew them." And this is just a server here in Boca. And normally you'd say, oh, that was strange, but so much has happened over the years that there is synchronicity there. And I think that's where we actually said we should open the show with that, right? So, and then a few other things happened, but it is there. Excuse me, I think my famous cough is coming back. But so, be on the lookout for things.
And how many times this weekend did you see license plates with your daughter's initials?
I did, and we went to see, what's the name of the?
Song Sung Blue.
Song Sung Blue. And as viewers know, I lost my daughter about 3.5 years ago. And the song, of course, was Sweet Caroline, which came on, but that was Neil Diamond's show, and it is a story. So I was thinking very much about her through the show because they kept mentioning her name. And not only that, we've talked about the fly that flies around, and I feel that somewhere there's a closeness. I really don't know exactly why the fly would be there and think of my daughter, but I have made that a symbol of thinking of my daughter when I see this fly. It follows us everywhere, into delis, everywhere. But it's in the movie theater, and I said, look, there's a fly. And it wouldn't leave me alone. In fact, so much so, they have the lights, which you don't really notice of the camera, I guess somewhere on the, it's flying in the light. And they're singing Sweet Caroline, which was my daughter's name, Caroline. We go out, Elsie, Louise Caroline. We kept singing it on
How many
license
times?
plates.
At least
many,
5 or 6
many.
times.
You see that. I always have somebody, I mean, I know and I understand as much as I can, and I believe this, but it's always nice to have somebody, as you were there, to see it with me. And we kept saying her name.
Do you know the history of the song, Sweet Caroline?
No, I do not.
Do you?
I don't.
I don't either. I think we should look it up.
Oh, yeah, I thought you were going to come out with
So
the
you had an
name.
answer.
Oh, my
I'm gonna-
God.
I'm gonna look it up.
Did
Well, thank you
everybody
for
else with
asking the
same
question.
thing?
I asked and answered by myself.
That's very funny, Dawn. We're all looking at you.
So
for
I
the
could have said
answer.
anything, and that would have been the right answer.
Yeah. Well, my
feeling
daughter's
like
name
we're
was
supposed to
Louise
be looking it
Caroline,
up.
but she went by Caroline.
Sally, I wanted to ask you, and we have Max here because I want to change for the coming year dreams, messages from beyond. Are these messages for the upcoming year, or do they have to do with? Because there've been some real strange. I've been talking to people. Nobody seemed to have slept well yesterday or the day before.
Yeah, well, Steve knows too. I was up nearly all night the day before yesterday. I think they're working overtime. That's the best way to explain that. And, you know, we're talking about the higher, the different dimensions, but the veil is thinning, and we've heard that said a lot. So right now, because we're in such chaos, actually, and it doesn't mean that you're not going to get good dreams because of that. I think they're trying to give us a lot of advice as to where to go. It's not just a little circle of people that we're talking to. I'm sure that this is going on throughout the world. Many people are well, that's something to do with disclosure too, actually. I think they're trying to help. They're helping us. But some people say, I'm so scared. No, I believe that most of the people that we have are helping us, and they can, I can't say interfere with our dreams, but we do go to an astral plane where they are able to talk to us, and then we believe it's a dream that we're having. Sometimes it's a real thing.
Well, Ava from New York City wrote in, and she's asking the specific question of, can dreams predict specific events coming in 2026? How much should we believe in them?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it depends on the person having the dream too, because they could have a dream and they just believe it's a dream, which a lot of dreams are. But if you're a little bit more into tune with it, and I believe we all can be, we get dreams and they can have predictions. I've had predictions that have happened. You hear many people over the centuries. I mean, Nostradamus comes to my mind right now. We all have dreams, and yes, they are predictions, because I believe our lives are planned out. Otherwise, we wouldn't know no one would know what was going to happen. So the people that are more aware or wanting to understand will have predictions of what may happen. So yes, the answer is yes, we have predictions, and yes, they come true.
So the dream I had the other day about being in here 50 years from now, and some of the interns holding me up by the shoulders and doing so we could speak as we were just babbling.
Well,
What
okay.
is that trying to tell
It
me?
tells you there's gravity around us here right now.
Yeah.
So 50 years from now, that's the only answer I can come up with right now. Fred.
Lord have mercy.
That's from them and that's from me.
Tell me the answer, Steve.
Yes, the name Caroline in the song was based on how sweet the little picture of Caroline Kennedy was when she was a young,
okay,
a
that
young
makes
child.
sense. Yeah, yeah.
But then
So
it
it had to
goes
do
on
with the
say
Kennedy?
the meaning of it is how love conquers sadness.
That's nice.
How love transforms loneliness into good times. And it's universal. Everyone says so good, so good. So
Okay, that's
that's the
nice.
message from
I believe
your
it's from my Caroline.
saying
Yes.
that
Yeah,
love
to look it
of
up.
that song should
Yeah.
transform
Yeah.
loneliness when she's
Yeah.
not here with you.
Yeah, yeah.
But brings people together in joy.
You read
Beautiful.
further than I did.
Thank you.
Because I knew there
Thank
had to
you.
be
That
more,
was a good
otherwise I
part of
wouldn't-
it. They wouldn't have.
I wouldn't have known to ask if it wasn't a meaning that she was supposed to have.
Absolutely, and we have that connection with my daughter anyway.
Which is so funny, 'cause I would never think
She's
that.
sweet, Yeah, yeah.
But Max is here. Max, you have questions
Hi,
for Sally?
Max. I know it's the
Um,
first time you've
Thank
seen
you.
the show.
I'm so
Welcome.
excited to meet you.
Yeah,
I'm so interested in the spiritual. So I asked you before we started. You think that everybody has a little bit of.
I think we're born with psychic abilities, but so many people are afraid. Well, it's becoming more, more people are becoming aware, but I do believe that some may be more than others, but I believe that everybody has some sort of psychic ability. Yeah.
Do you have like a spiritual practice, or like is there something like a person can do to like, I don't
Well,
know, get in
there are-
touch with their guides, or I'm not exactly sure.
There are many techniques. Mine just, I mean, I don't know if I was lucky or I'd asked for it, but mine came to me I'd had this most of my life, but my awareness of what I had came in the middle part of my life, actually. And I had things that there was no, I know you don't know my story, but I had things that there was no way that this could not be true. It was just beyond what could have happened to somebody, and people that know me, that know my story, know that. The only one that I can explain without going into a whole, details of the whole thing, is that I had a dream one night and I was told to become an artist and paint, go and get some crayons and pick them up. So I was astral projecting, but I didn't even know what that was. So I had no training on how you can have training on astral projecting, because it's definitely real. And what the heck had happened? I said, hell, what happened to me? But the thing is, I was scribbling a couple of weeks later, and my guide, who became my guide here on Earth, who understood all this, met me the day after. It's a long story, and he said to me, he knew what was happening to me, but I didn't know. And I'm drawing, and he looked at my sketches, and over the months that followed after that, you believe in previous lives, which a lot of viewers today do. I'm drawing things from other lifetimes that I have never seen. I'm drawing places and people and things of things that I didn't know that I knew from previous lives.
That's
So
amazing.
that woke me up pretty fast. I
Wow.
said, what in the world is going on?
That's
and I'm
really
becoming an
cool.
artist, never could draw a straight line. So that was pretty, I'm going to say, people could say scary. Yes, it probably was, but it was also in my mind. How in the world could I do that? So it became amazing to me that I could.
That's
I said,
amazing.
this is crazy. I need to let everybody else know it's possible.
And just to give you just a little further explanation of her guide that was here on Earth, he came looking for her from Peru, but stayed in the background until she had her out-of-body experience one night and came up to her. They worked together. They didn't even know each other. And it came up to her and said, I know where you were last night. And
That's
proceeded-
amazing.
Proceeded to tell me everything that had happened to in my dream the night before. My first reaction was, and he knew me, but I didn't know him. We were working in the same place. And he tapped me on the shoulder and said that. And I said, I don't know where I was last night, because I had no idea. And then he said, little by little, and I'm going to explain everything to you. And he did over the next 18 years. He passed
Wow.
away about 3 years, shortly before my daughter.
Yeah.
That's
But
amazing.
he said to me, be my mouthpiece. That's what I want you to do. And for the
Okay.
18 years, he really basically told me anything I wanted to know, because he was on what I believe now, and I knew then, on a higher dimension here. So he was able to do that.
That's really
I was
cool.
blessed with that.
Wow.
Sally, do you ever know when you meet somebody for the first time whether or not they have vision?
I can tell if someone, I can't really tell you how or what they express with what they can do.
Yeah, but
I
you
can
know that
tell
they
if
do?
someone's psychic, yes. Absolutely. I can tell if someone's on the same energy as me. I've seen that. You've seen that happen in the studio here. How many people that they can tell, because you can tell anybody that's this way, you get that bond immediately. As Dawn and I did when I first walked in, right, Dawn?
Did
So it's pretty-
did you see something in Kendra?
Yes, I did. Even today when she came up to me, I felt something. I know there was something different. I've seen her videos and I knew who she was, but I'm not saying even the first time. There's a certain energy that people give out. We all probably have this, but if you don't use it at all, it's dormant, I believe. But once you start acting on it and understanding it a little bit better, you get to know other people that are doing the same thing. I think, I'm not sure how much she's aware of it, and it would be for her to tell me, because I don't know her that well, but I feel something, and look what she's achieving. That's also something. People that are out there, some of these people that you think about, the singers even, have something that they're using. And how does one person, forget any names, attract so many people and change their whole lives? Because that person did what they were meant to do, and it might be just singing. That's a very good example. And it draws in, that energy draws in people. Think about it. I won't mention any particular celebrity, but anybody that has gained that knowing, that people know them that well and idolize them. They idolize some of these celebrities. There's a magnet that's drawing them there somehow.
But to further answer your question, do we all have psychic ability? I didn't know that I had psychic ability until I spent time with Sally, and it's come on over the years. And I don't feel I have psychic ability in general, but between the two of us, there's a connection that we know what we're thinking, and we think the same things at the same time. All the time.
And let me say, it can be good or bad, right?
Do you think people are born with it?
Yes. It's innate with us as
everyone.
human beings, yes. I think anybody that and again talking about out of different places that we're not the only planet here in my world. And I think anybody that's born into what I call the illusion here, we all have it. We just, we come in forgetting a lot of things. That doesn't mean that we lose what we know. It's just dormant. And mine was dormant. And Aldo knew about that's my guide that was here, told me about many of my previous lifetimes, which I was drawing anyway. So I totally believe this, because how am I seeing something that was coming to me? So it was dormant, but I chose to wake up in this particular lifetime. And
So
I've got
Sally,
a long way to go still.
Aldo was your awakening, right? He woke you.
Yeah.
So do you know other people? Do you woke? That's not good English.
That's
Do
okay.
you awaken other people when you see them? Do you have the same path that he has to do that?
Well, now that I'm aware of it, yes, I think I do. Probably not when I wasn't aware of it, but Aldo was. So now I can tell. I mean, I don't know whether I'm right or wrong unless I talk to that particular person. But you have it's like a magnet being drawn. The person will feel the same about talking to me, not knowing even what I do for a living. Well, a living, I do it to help
Well,
people.
look at Steve. He was just a testimony that now he feels closer to you, and you share this energy.
Right.
So that's an awoke moment.
It begins to, what hopefully I do, and I'm glad that has happened, because I'm here, a lot of people, even when I went myself to a psychic not that long ago, he said to me, "You're a teacher." And I said, why would he call me a teacher? I'm not standing up in a classroom teaching. I'm not a teacher. But then he knew a little more about me, because he was a psychic too. And when he understood exactly what he said, well, of course you're a teacher. You're teaching other people. Aldo said to me, he was my teacher, be my mouthpiece. I didn't know he was going to go before I did, pass, but he did. And hopefully now I'm doing the work that he did. He was very advanced. I don't believe I'm at his stage.
But it's
that he
safe to
was.
say learning of yourself is a teacher.
Yes, it is. I mean, if it's something, I not question myself, but I sit in this chair, take this as an example, and I said, it's hard for me to introduce myself. And I mean, I talk on your shows because I'm already on the zone, but if I'm put on the spot to say my website, I don't do that readily. I have to think about it. I'm not thinking about any of these questions. In fact, I said to you in the car coming here, and I've been doing this for a while, I have no nerves. I could stand in front of maybe 1,000 people and talk, as long as I get that question, because it puts me into some different zone right now. And I'm, it's not an ego thing by any means, but I'm pretty confident in myself as Sally that if I don't know it, I'm still going to know the answer, because I'm getting it from somewhere else. And it's very important for people to understand that they can do more than what they think they can do. I didn't know I could do this, and I have no fear about doing it. I don't even want to know the question. It's not ego, because you have to put that aside. It's where I'm coming from when I'm in this zone. I'm not the only one.
Would you say that because of your ability, it has drawn people to you, like Dawn, like Mindy, like other people in your life?
I think it works both ways. I'm drawn also to the people. I walked in here. It didn't happen the first time, and we've talked about that many times. It took somebody else physically to tell me where you were, to follow them to the studio here. But I listened. And I think if that not have worked, something else would have done, because we draw each other. We're all connected. We sometimes don't know we're doing. This is really strange. My voice has been all right for a week. We draw each other in, type of thing. But if someone has a mental, I'm not going to say mental block. If someone has a block about this, it's not going to happen, because someone can say, well, I don't know, or I'm scared, or I don't want anything to do with that. You're not going to be drawn to that person because they're on a different energy to you. We're drawn in by energy and frequency.
But isn't being drawn in also, you being the teacher, aren't you getting something as well back from what you're pulling out?
100%. I don't always remember my shows, as you know, and you know too. I'll remember the segment if you talk about it, but I might not remember the ending of the show. But I am learning, even in my own consciousness, so much more, because I'm tapping into a higher energy. And tapping into that higher energy is reawakening something in myself. I may not always remember, but it's somewhere in my consciousness that I've talked about that. I'm pulling from myself from other lifetimes, because I learned, although my guide told me that I knew what I know now in another lifetime. The last lifetime I had it dormant, but it didn't leave me. And he said, I knew a lot in one particular lifetime, so I've reawakened to what I knew, and much more that I don't even know right now that I know. But I'm not alone with this. We all have this. We just don't use it. We don't, maybe I did choose in this lifetime to use it. You can call it a gift, but we all have this gift. We've all lived, most of us, I believe that all of us on this earth at this particular time have had many lifetimes. That's why we're here, to really help the world right now.
Are there things that you love as Sally, like, I don't know, four-way stop or smells, whatever it is that you love that make no sense, except it makes sense to a past lifetime?
Well, I'm very aware of that today, Dawn. Absolutely, yes. In fact, when we went to the show yesterday, and I had never told Steve this, when I was a child, younger, if I ever I love the theater, so I think it's the last lifetime I was on the stage somewhere doing something. I was very scared to go to the theater if there was I hated loud noise. It was something that really bothered me. So even going to the theater, years ago they'd have a gun and they'd do this. I would have my ears like this. I hated fireworks, and I only really realized yesterday that has to have been from a previous life, because the show we saw yesterday was loud, but not loud bangs that they used to do. But I'm very aware that is a lifetime that something went loud, and maybe I passed with that.
Well,
I don't know.
The show that you saw should bring back.
Well, it did in a way. I think the only thing that distracted me from that, if it had been more of a play, because it was all music and I didn't know the music, and I find it hard sometimes, and many people might think, why do I? But I do. When someone's singing the words,
Yeah, the lyrics.
it's good, but it doesn't have the same impact. Yes, the song is different. You expect someone to break into song. But this is beautiful. It was a wonderful show. But I don't follow the quote storyline like other people probably, so it becomes a little difficult for me to follow it.
But talking about the storyline, in Act 2 there was loud bangs, there was cannon fire, rifle fire, in the French Revolution. I was fine. Yeah. And that's the first time in my life that I've been fine, because I don't like even fireworks. I don't like loud bangs. But I knew it suddenly. I said, that's the reason why. Oh, listen, there's a car that just went. I didn't flinch. Maybe the first one, because I didn't expect it. Listen to that noise. But I didn't. I watched it and said, it's a musical here, and that's fine. I'm okay with this now. And it took all these years. Once you begin to understand some of your past lives, actually, it's a really good thing to go back into past lives and open up a little bit of what happened to you, because not all of them, but as Aldo said, the particular ones you might need in this life that could be beneficial from a life that you've had that may answer the question in this life.
Sally, isn't it true for every person you meet, it adds another sentence to the solutions of your own life?
Well, yes, I truly believe, and if someone bumps into you, that nothing is because we're connected. Nothing is accidental. It is, you say, synchronicity, and that shows much more when you can see it vividly, like we did with the restaurants, and my father would go there and we go there. it becomes more in your mind. But I don't believe anything, really, anything is not planned. I think
But when
everything
you do that because you see it, it doesn't give you an advantage or a disadvantage, but you know why you're seeing it. The other person is learning why you see it.
Yes, because we're all teachers and students, and students are teachers. And that comes to me very vividly, that they're saying that. We all have an innate, in ourselves, progress. We all, if you think from now, what happened, it's 100 years prior to 100 years, it's another story that we've had all this before because we have hidden, let's say, technology somewhere. But we're opening up as the years go by to so much more. We didn't have, I mean, I'm getting up there in age. I'm still not quite ready to say my age, but we didn't have anything like this when I was a child. Nothing. We had a telephone though, and we did have a car. It was an old-fashioned car, but we had a car. So that part is, I'm over.
Ready to take a commercial break?
Yes, I'll see you back on the other side of this show.
A true story, Call Me Zena, is the telling of Sally Bernard. Born in London, England at the end of the Second World War, she came into the U.S. in 1979. A mother of 2 and a grandmother of 4, she settled in Florida and worked in real estate. While going through a difficult time in her life, she was admitted into a hospital overnight in December of 2005. While settling back into her life, she began having vivid dreams and documenting them. By the 3rd dream, a lady gave her a message to draw. With no artistic background or interest into art or history, Sally listened to her dreams and grabbed a paper and crayons. Today, she has over 150 pieces of inspiring art and poetry. This book follows her journey and interpretations of these messages. She describes in detail how she is able to astral a project and who she has met along her travels, including her spirit guides. This book will show you how anything is possible with an open mind. These events have changed Sally's life and direction, and this book will show you how to change yours. Purchase Call Me Zena on Amazon today, authorhouse.com and amazon.com.
Thank you for joining me through this journey of self-discovery with the help of my spirit guides. I'm Sally Bernard, and you can find my book at authorhouse and amazon.com or visit my art on my clothing in my boutique at artbysallybernard.com. Now back to the show. Hi, good afternoon, everybody. We've just had a very interesting conversation, but I'm not putting it on the air.
She's
that
being
we were
grandma
just,
right now.
Yeah, I was being a grandma. Okay, so welcome back to my show. Questions, please. Oh, and you can call in with questions. 888-994-4995, Studio A.
Do you remember the first vision that you had that actually you realized it was a vision?
I remember, yes. I mean, I probably had other ones, and that was a good way to word the question for me, because I had them, but I didn't know it was a vision. When I had my very first vision, I absolutely knew that it was a vision, and I saw everything, but I thought I knew where it was, but I didn't have, and as with any visions, a lot of visions, you don't know when it's going to happen.
Right.
Unfortunately, this wasn't the best vision, because it was something tragic that happened. And even if I was to tell anybody about what could happen, I had no date and I had no proof. But it came true about 5 years later, funnily enough. The only thing that I had different, and it was a place, they had a terrorist attack actually, which, you know, is sad, in London. And it was my school was an abbey, Battle Abbey, where I went. And I thought this had taken place at Battle Abbey, but it wasn't. It was in Westminster in London. But I saw ambulances, I saw everything. It's kind of sad to talk about it because I don't like to, but this is life. And I suddenly realized that I had the wrong location, but it looked just like my school.
How old were you?
This was not that long ago. It was about 15 years ago.
Okay.
I had this. When they had I'm not sure when the terrorist attack happened there, but it was about 15, 16 years ago.
So up until then, you didn't know you had
I
vision?
didn't know, but that was absolute proof to me. But it was 5 years later that we do see into our future, because all I knew is that I saw English ambulances are a different color, or they were then. I think they're white that I was seeing, and I saw this whole place. And when I suddenly saw what had happened in London, probably about 20 years ago, I'm not sure, I said, oh my God, that was exactly as my vision. I just had the wrong location and I didn't have the time when it was going to happen, the date. But yes, and there are good things. I don't want to end on that particular one, particularly, you know, but people have good and bad visions. They see the future. It doesn't happen that often, but I have seen quite a few.
People who are watching and they're thinking, do I have vision or am I just crazy and I have voices in my head? How do you discern between the two?
It's difficult. It's very, as I didn't know. I thought, well, maybe I'm just dreaming because nothing was happening. And even if I had known, I had nowhere to turn to. So it was within me, I realized I'd had a vision. And the people that I actually did tell people about this dream. I said, something I believe is going to happen. But nothing happened, so thank goodness, but I couldn't stop it happening. So it's hard because you think maybe that was just a dream. But sometimes when you actually see it, you know, or on TV, you know that was a vision, because how would you know? You
don't know.
But someone that's psychic today, I was already understanding what was happening to me, will have a very good idea that people work for the police. That was all hush-hush at one time, but today many psychics work with the police, and they know where bodies are buried, they know all sorts, or something may happen. They also know that something or where it may happen. That's a premonition.
Interesting.
Sally, those voices in your head are your guys talking to you and letting you ask questions that perhaps you're afraid to ask or are seeking answers to. Why do the voices come into play, as Dawn just mentioned?
Well, the voices are coming into play, I think, to show people or to teach people that this is, you have to believe, which you had just said, to open someone's mind, which hopefully I'm doing, that there is more that goes on that we know. By opening that, you have to believe something, otherwise you're not even going to ask me the question or listen to this show. There's so much more beyond what we see that is going on. So that by believing that there's more, you will eventually, I truly believe anybody that asks for this and believes it, maybe not come psychic, but will get some answers somewhere, be it they may think of something and then it suddenly appears on the television. I don't know how it comes into, well, I know how it comes, but I don't know what you're going to receive. But the main thing is to begin to open up and understand that there is more, and believe truly that you know that there's more, because how in the world are we even here? Even just by questioning a little bit. Why do we go to sleep and dream at night? Why do we have to spend all these hours in bed? We do. Why are we here? What happened? Why are there other people around us? Are there other planets from other places? Yes, I believe so, and I've looked for that, and as people know, I have been abducted too. So I don't have any fear, and I think that, well, I probably do, but I don't feel that I have fear. And I think if you have fear or you're fearful and you don't believe, that's kind of shutting the door on everything. Once you begin to open up and just know that there's more than just us sitting here and there's a whole world out there and they don't understand it and that's just where they are, there is so much more. And if I don't get anything else across to people, is just open up and believe they'll have the answers themselves without me. But I have to start somewhere by telling people to open up a little bit.
So there's a TV program that we like to watch, High Potential, where the main character plays a profiler for the police department. And
Yes.
so how different is what you do to what she does?
Well, it's different because she works with the police, and yes, but her I'm going to call it a gift that we all have, is very similar to what, if I was in that environment, I could probably do the same thing. Because I would train my gift to go towards where I am. I'm training myself. Doing the program here is a gift to me too, because I'm opening up with questions and I'm answering things that I don't know that I know. Mm-hmm. So as long as you open up, but if I put myself into a different environment, let's say I was working for the police and I was trying to figure out what had happened, I could put myself into that situation and my gift would come out that way.
So the other show that we used to watch, The Medium, she wakes her, she has dreams and all that stuff that
Well, yeah, but I do the same thing, but I don't want that part of me to be around me all the time, because I'm going to sleep and she's having dreams of what's happening all the time. I'm waking up. I don't want that particularly. So I think I've turned that off. So,
Okay.
but I can do it, and it has happened. Yes,
It says a lot about me how TV oriented I am.
absolutely, absolutely, Steve.
Did you ever have feelings, Max, that you have vision or any questions about it?
I had an experience when I was a kid that I don't really know what it means. But I was in a car accident, and my sisters and my dad passed away. And but anyway, my mom wasn't there, and he was a doctor at the hospital at the time, and they sent a police car to pick her up from the house because her whole family had basically just been in this terrible car accident. And I remember sitting in the back. I was in the hospital, but I remember like sitting in the back seat of the car, and my mom later confirmed, like, she remembers looking back and like seeing, like, I don't know if it was a ghost or what it was. So I've always known I had something since I was little, but I don't like know like how to hone my skill and like how to be more open-minded or.
But just, are you talking about reality or the dream part?
I mean both.
Yeah, because both. I mean, even a dream, we're in a dream here, a dream within a dream, and you've heard people say that. I think just by opening up to any situation and believing that you saw something or you feel something, you're really on your way to that. But we closed doors along the way because it was so hush-hush at one time. The good thing about living where we are right now, and there's a lot of things that we need to straighten out here on Earth, is that I truly believe that most people and I've heard other people say this on shows, that have come and incarnated at this particular time, we can all do this because we've chosen to come into, let's say, this big mess to help Earth. So I truly believe that most of us here are beginning to wake up much more. I mean, I'm not at the level, I got a long way to go, but I've reached a certain level with the help from my guide, who I call him my guide because he'd been looking for me all his life and didn't know me, helped me. So I think we're here, and we're here to help this planet. It doesn't seem like that right now. But why would we, if you think we choose when we're going to come in, choose this particular, there is no time on the other side, but we choose this. So anybody that has anything happen to them that they think is out of the ordinary, actually it's more ordinary than being out of, we're out of the, this is coming to me, we're out of the ordinary. The ordinary is what you're talking about, what we're all talking about. That's where we should be. And we have helpers, and this is coming to me so strongly, to help us now, to guide us into that. Having said that, especially with the new year coming, there's a lot of anger and hatred and all these things. And Earth is I'm going to say, is living, okay? And we hear that, Mother Earth. She's getting fed up with this. So we're all here to have premonitions, to understand more. And the more people that can begin to just even relay a story like you said, or me to have this show, will begin to open people's minds more. And yes, we can all do this. Yes, we're here for a reason. And yes, there is a purpose behind all of this. Dreams, however it comes to you, are real. This is not what's real. We have it backwards. But I had no idea.
I never thought about it like that.
And I feel that I meant to tell you that.
Yes.
I don't know, again, where this is coming from, but I feel it, and I'm getting these messages. We have it backwards. So we need to now live our dream, basically. You hear people say, live your dream. Live your dream, because it will become our reality here. As long as you stay positive. Positivity, we need the negativity to understand the positivity. But as long as you see it as the way we see it and turn it around, it'll make sense.
Okay.
Does that make sense? And I have my guide
that
who
makes
always
sense.
says, does that make sense?
But so
to
what
me
about,
right
I went through a period a couple months ago where I was having nightmares. So what do you make of nightmares?
Well, depending, I used to have nightmares, so much so that I knew if I had said a prayer, I used to say at night, please don't let me have this same nightmare. That's how bad my nightmares were. But today I realize that they're giving us messages, whether it's us or other people. So I would try to remember, though you don't want to remember a nightmare, but I would I recommend that you should and write it down because it will help you, because mine were continually the same thing. And people that have nightmares usually is the same thing. Well, there's your answer. There's something in that you're meant to wake up to in this particular lifetime that is bothering you, because why are we dreaming? We don't usually dream the same dream. But a nightmare is a continual dreaming, I think, the same dream, which I had. And I began to realize, today actually, it's been a long, long time since I've had that dream, but it was a message to try to wake me up.
Okay. That's
Literally
interesting.
wake us up, because we're walking around sleeping.
Yeah.
So that's backwards. We sleep, but we need to wake up. Why do they say what I do? They call it waking up or beginning to wake up. Well, there's the answer.
That makes so much sense.
Right.
Freddie, do we have any questions from viewers?
We do, but I had a question. So a nightmare could be a message you're not listening to wake you up.
Yes.
Now, what makes it a nightmare? Your perception?
Well, it's yes. It's not necessarily the perception. It's something that's dormant in us that's trying to come to our subconscious, because it could bother us in our everyday life. It may be something that we're doing that we need to know more of. You know, we all have problems in our lives.
But suppose I say something is a nightmare and I tell Dawn the nightmare, and she says that's not a nightmare. That's just a message.
Well, it may not be for Dawn, but it's your nightmare, not hers.
But I want to know where you get the definition. Call it a nightmare.
Because you just called it a nightmare. So to you, you were scared of your dream.
It's like, who's on first?
You just, in
Steve,
your
you wanna
dream,
help me
now
here?
Dawn could have the dream that you had, whichever one you're talking about.
If I tell
it
her,
may not be a nightmare.
if I tell her it was a nightmare, is it because I'm rushing to listen to something that I'm not listening to?
I believe you're right there, actually, Freddie. Yes, because you want another opinion on what your dream was. To you, it was scary. It may not be to Dawn, but then Dawn may have something.
It may not be scary. It may be truth of reality.
Right.
It may be something. Like I woke up this morning with an about face about life,
Okay,
and that's so unlike me.
right. It is.
But this morning I woke up with that. So I'm sitting there like I do in the morning, and I get an about face. I don't like about face because I talk a certain word, and to do an about face for me is very confusing.
right. No, I
So that's
understand.
not a nightmare. This isn't about face.
Well, I think it's trying to, it might be something, I don't know. We suppress a lot of things. So I don't claim to be a psychiatrist. I'm not one, and I don't
That's what
claim
I
one.
need, a psychiatrist.
Okay.
That's what she
But
told me.
if you suppress anybody, let's not personalize it to you, anybody that's suppressing something, it's like a bubble. You know, you have a bottle and you open it, and if it's being pressed down, it literally goes into your subconscious, but doesn't mean it's gone. And you'll get situations and circumstances and people around you that, when they say, oh, you pushed my button, that is so true. You push the bottle, you push the button, and then it's going to explode. It will explode one way or the other for you to get rid of it. Otherwise, how are you going to get rid of it? You'll bring it into the next lifetime.
I think
So-
a nightmare, by definition, would obviously be something scary or frightening or
Well, no,
eerie.
yes, that's true up to in a certain way, because what might be scary to you, because it's your suppression, it's not mine. I'm just using this hypothetically.
But it's my
Not gonna
nightmare.
be-
But what about a
it's
harsh?
not going to be scary.
What about a harsh reality? What about a harsh truth?
Okay.
That's not as scary, but it is a nightmare because you're like, whoa, where did this come from?
Yes, but that's from, you're talking about harsh truth from within your own mind?
Yes.
Okay, yes, absolutely, Freddie, but that's for you, right? That it's actually explaining
But it was about you.
It's about me?
Yeah.
You had a reality scare about me?
Yeah.
In your dream?
Yeah.
What the hell was it?
But you see, but the point is, until I said it was you, you didn't understand what I was saying.
Because now
maybe it
you're
was about Max.
But
Maybe
now
let's put it on Max
But
now.
you're opening up to your scare. And the only way you're going to
Yeah.
get rid of opening up is by talking about it. And if it involves
But then we're
someone
back
else,
to
you need tell them.
perception of nightmare.
Maybe
yes.
it's a
But
message.
then it would become a nightmare, right?
Or it's a message telling you to reevaluate that issue that caused you the about face
Perfect.
and that you have choice.
I don't think that a harsh reality is necessarily a nightmare.
to you.
Correct. Thank
But-
you. That's my point.
But it depends on the person that's having the nightmare. I could have the same dream as you, and I'd go, it's not a nightmare to me. But it could be a situation that you've suppressed that now has opened up that nightmare for you. So you do something.
We're back to the word nightmare.
Well, but once you've solved
Harsh
it, it's not
reality.
Okay, I got the answer.
She's got it.
Once you've opened up to that, guess what? You're going to have the same dream. It won't be a nightmare.
Look at her. She's getting ready to pounce.
You see this? She's really hopped up on this one. Okay, I'll let you in on a little bit more of it.
Please.
Something occurred 8 to 9 years ago, and I did not do something to stop it because I knew it was coming, and it was very detrimental. And then I had the same feeling this morning, and I don't want to make the same mistake.
Okay.
So there is my nightmare.
And I understand that and I respect what you just said, Freddie. 9 years ago, you weren't aware. Today, you're aware of whatever. We don't need to know the situation, but whatever it was, now you're aware of it. You're giving yourself an opportunity. That's what's coming to me now, to correct what you didn't correct 9 years ago. It becomes scary because you remember the 9 years ago situation, but that same situation, it's what I'm talking about actually, is resurfacing. Now you have time to correct, and guess what? It's not a nightmare anymore. It's a learning experience. And if you can solve that in the nicest possible way of knowing that, it's not going to be repeated because it's done. It's a form of karma.
I can't do it in the nicest possible way,
Well,
but okay.
try. At least you're aware of that, though.
No, I know. I'm just trying to change the definition. Sometimes a harsh reality is not a nightmare, and sometimes a nightmare is not a harsh reality.
But the harsh reality,
Right.
if you can control the outcome,
Perfect.
if there's something you can do to change the outcome of the harshness, then maybe it's a message.
No, the only
becomes a
thing I
gift,
can
actually, that
control
you're able
is
to do
the
it.
only thing I can control is what I didn't do.
Okay,
Well-
so can you do it now?
Perfect.
Well, there is one. I'm asking. There is my
Yes.
harsh reality.
The harsh reality is that you're remembering what you did 9 years ago.
Or didn't
today,
do.
or did or didn't do,
Didn't do.
correct. But now you're aware of it, Freddie. You don't make the same mistake again. That's as simple as that. Don't
Well,
make
maybe
the
my
same
biggest
mistake.
fear is not making the same mistake.
That's
again.
exactly what they're telling me. Do not make the same mistake.
See,
You're
I need
given
all you guys
another
in my head
opportunity.
when I go to sleep, so then I get some answers while I'm going through this.
Yeah,
Well, you
key,
will.
I think the key word here is reality.
Yes.
If it's based on reality, then it's probably not a nightmare.
Correct. Now, is that subconscious?
Well, it seems that you have the answer.
No, I don't have the answer.
Well, no, but you're
I had
giving
questions.
the opportunity now. So let's have this conversation a year from today, and you'll say,
Okay.
"Guess how?" No,
Make
I
a
don't
note.
mean that
I-
literally.
that works for me.
But you see what I'm
It's
saying?
been 9 years.
No, I think you need to face this. You need
Yeah,
to
I know.
face
I
it.
know what you're going to say, so I'm going to move on to another question.
Okay, I respect
Boy, 'cause
that.
I know
However,
she's
we
gonna
will-
take me
that's not
apart
the end
now.
of the conversation.
The reoccurring dreams. This is from Ethan. The reoccurring dreams influence our life choices.
Well, if you, yes, because they're trying to give us some. We're giving ourselves the message actually, because it's in our subconscious. So the more you dream of something, the more you're going to think about it, right?
So you're creating your dreams?
Yeah, absolutely. It's coming from somewhere.
Maybe it's coming from somewhere.
Well, there's two ways of looking, and I know this because I was told this by Aldo too. We have a subconscious, and your subconscious takes in literally what they're telling you, what you're seeing during the course of this day, or what may have happened last week, or 2 weeks, or even a year ago. But we go deeper than that. We have what they call a super consciousness. And that super consciousness holds things not just from this lifetime, it holds things that we don't remember from other lifetimes. It doesn't mean we escape all the things that happen, good and bad, but it goes somewhere in our psyche, let's say, in our consciousness. So it resurfaces now and again to learn that lesson, good or bad. I have a very intelligent guide right now with me.
Do you know who your guide is? Like, do they
Today
do they
I
identify
have someone
themselves?
different. I have the one that, I have many. I don't have one specific guide other than Aldo, who probably overrides them all for me. That was but sometimes I know that I change my voice slightly or something, and I'm aware of
You
what
start
I'm
to
saying.
cough.
And I think, how in the world would I know this guy is very intelligent? Not to say that we're all intelligent, actually. But it was different. I was a different person, definitely.
Can you tell how many guys a person has? How many guys does Steve have?
No, that's an individual thing, but we have many. I could say he has 10. I don't know if I'm right.
Can you
neither
see
will
them?
he. No, I can feel them. I don't see
You
them.
feel his guides? So how do you get his guides
I can.
and
if
Max's
I tune
guides?
In,
What
I
are,
have to tune into
are they?
that.
Are they? Do
I
they
got your
get?
guide right now, actually. I got your number, Freddie.
Dawn, wasn't it about a week ago you saw like an older woman with gray hair
Yes,
standing
yes.
behind me?
See her now?
No, I see someone with Max though.
Yeah, I see a couple of people with Max.
I wonder who it is.
I don't
I
know.
see,
Could
but
be
I see
Dad.
an animal, actually. I see a cat. Oh, cool.
It could be your father.
Yeah.
What was his name?
John.
Oh, I was going to try and see if I could get it.
Oh.
No, it's okay. It's okay. But it's real. What they're saying is real.
Do you see or hear from her from her dad?
I haven't, but sometimes they'll come to me if I'm not tuned. I think the easiest possible way for anybody that can do this too, it's good to tune in, like I'm talking to you now, and I will be able to do it. I'm talking to Steve or I'm talking to you, because I'm tuning in more. That doesn't mean they're not around us, but their energy is there. But I also have to, like a radio station, tune into that particular person, because I do get names. You've seen that. I get names right away, because it kind of validates what I'm doing for myself and the other person. I just keep seeing this animal. There is definitely. Did you ever have a dog? I know you're a cat person, but you had a dog.
Growing up, we had dogs, but I never have had like my own dog.
No, but you had a dog around you in the house.
Well, there was a dog. She died a couple years ago. I had when I used to be married, and I was with her the day she was born, and I was also with her the day she died.
That's the one that's with you. That's what makes sense, right? Absolutely. I'm beginning to think I was like the psychic we went to see the other day, and every time someone asked a question, they kept the psychic get the wrong nut. She kept saying, "I don't relate to that." I said, "I hope that's not going to happen to me." This woman, I won't mention her name, didn't get anything right. You were there with Mindy. Mindy's going, "She's terrible. They're usually very good."
That's very funny.
So I thought, "Oh my God, what am I
Tell
doing?"
her? Did you tell her she was wrong?
Who? Yeah, they kept saying, she said, "Do you relate to it?" Everyone in the audience kept saying no. She went to somebody else, no, right? I'm going, "Mindy, where did you bring us?" Because she loves psychics. Nothing was right that this woman
But
got.
about a month later, we went to see a different psychic, and everything was
Everything
right.
was great, yes.
Interesting.
Most of the time, 99%. She just had, maybe she was having an off day.
Are you ever fearful that you might be in a big room of psychics and they call you and they say something that you don't want everybody in that room to know?
Yeah, but but I don't believe that it could happen, yes. But I don't
You know, if
believe
they
it.
said, "Sally, you're psychic," and people start coming up and asking you questions,
Oh.
would that be weird for you?
Well, no, because I'm aware of it. It'd be it would be weird if I didn't know that I could do this. And someone and they said to me, "What's happening in my love life?" I haven't a clue.
Interesting. So she's got your guide. All right, so I have to ask her my guide. Is she around?
Always, always, and you know that Elizabeth is always here.
Where was she from?
In
Do you
times
know?
of trouble, I believe she was around when we were in Italy and France. She was in Italy too, not just France. She's around you. I would say, like we have a main guide, but she knows me, but she's your guide. She's not my guide, because we have our individual guides, and we have their helpers, which I saw in my astral projection, which I had no idea. And I'm giving Aldo the story that my guide has a helper, an apprentice. I thought I was going nuts, and he explained that actually does happen. Guides have because she had been on Earth. Now, I didn't know who she was, but I saw it all. And he said, no. Actually, I said, my guide doesn't like to bring some humor into this. He's a man, but he doesn't usually have women that he guides. And Aldo said to him, "You're very male chauvinist." I said, "You can't talk to a guide that way." Aldo says, "I can talk to him how I want." That's absolutely true.
Do guys ever leave you?
Well, they never leave you as such, but they have other people. Your main guide and someone else will be around you all the time. But they also do bring in other guides and helpers. We have many guides.
We share guides?
And we'll share guides, yes, but a main guide I don't think we share. Somebody, because they're with you primarily through your life, maybe in another lifetime. And I think my guide is telling me I have 1 minute left. Okay. Thank you, Freddie. You're now my guide. We have 1 minute left.
Don't say
Okay,
things like that because your real guy to get mad at me.
No, they won't. I won't allow it. Thank you guys for this show. I think was a little humorous, which I love humor anyway. So I'll see you guys next week. Have a happy, wonderful New Year's Eve and New Year's Day. And as everybody will say, please be careful out there because you don't know what someone else is going to do. Bye. I'll see you next week. You have been watching Call Me Zena with your host, Sally Bernard. As an artist, author, and spiritual experiencer, know that you can always seek me out for resources by visiting artbysallybernard.com. Join us next week, Mondays at 2:30. Have a blessed day.